What's going on, everyone? It's Mike back again, and yeah, it's been a while. You probably hear the birds singing. I'm sitting in the garden. It's a nice night. It's been raining most of the day, so I thought, you know what, take this chance to do a video, sit outside and just talk Everton. Look, it's been an interesting few days since the last video, hasn't it? You know, Everton have finally moved in the transfer market. We'll talk about Danjuma in a moment. I did mention this a couple of weeks ago on a video, that I felt that if you are going to get a player on loan, a player of his quality as well, let's not sugarcoat this. This is a great player. This is a player that, you know, was valued by Villarreal for £33 million and has scored something like 15 La Liga goals a season before. This kid has got something. He just doesn't fit the style of play anymore with Villarreal. He went on loan at Spurs in January, and he didn't get the opportunity. But there was lots of players at Spurs that didn't get the opportunity that they fully deserved, including Richarlison. So he's a good signing. But anyway, we'll talk about that in a minute. We are also linked with Albina Toure, a player that Atlanta also want, and they're going to be coming into some serious money with some transfers. So I'm not fancying my chances in that one, but again, young, powerful, quick, knows where the goal is, although albeit hasn't necessarily scored loads of goals. It's probably a bit more of a gamble. But Everton are making moves in the transfer market now. We are approaching players. We've been linked with Willy Gnonto several times. A player that could go on the left-hand side or right-hand side, can cause problems, can cut inside on both feet, can score goals. We saw him score some goals from Leeds. We saw him get some assists for Leeds. You know, this is a player that is more than capable. So Everton is showing that they are prepared to strengthen the wider areas and the attacking players, and equally try and get goals from other areas of the pitch. I think it's interesting that players like Dele Alli and Andre Gomez have been quiet in terms of movement. I think that's been interesting. Dele Alli has been linked with West Brom, but it's not really counting the same. But we'll talk about the team as a whole in a minute. I want to talk about the pre-season games. A draw away at Tranmere, which look, was predominantly youngsters really, and was all in all good fitness test, good energy, good local game. Players could get behind it, fans could get behind it. You know, it was just a good local occasion, so that was good. And you'd argue that the more senior team were away at Wigan, and a game that Wigan caused Everton problems. I think it was Agard. He was playing on the right hand side for them. He's definitely got something about them, the Norwegian under-21 international. He could, you know, he was turning players inside out. He turned Mikalenko. He had a little bit of quality, you know, that opportunity where he could stand the ball up and deliver the ball, and he did several times. And I think it was on the 17th minute, Wigan have a really good opportunity. Ball comes over the top to him, and their striker slot misses. He pulls it past the post. But it was a good effort. It's a happy little bird. So that was positive for Wigan, but Everton weren't defending great, if I'm being honest. They weren't defending great, and they were... Just need a pellet gun now, don't we? Boom. We weren't defending great, and I'd argue that Everton had some serious defensive frailties. You know, we saw with the game in in Austria, when... players were clean through on goal, and they've got the pace to get through, and it's disappointing that we do look a little bit fragile at the back. Especially, look, Sean Dyche will do his job. He'll get the team gunned. He'll get them ready to go, and he'll get them performing. But being realistic, this Everton team defensively, they need a lot of work, because we've seen against opposition that, you know, are 2 or 3 leagues below us, we're seeing them getting, and they're not half chances, they're getting good chances to score good goals against a Premier League outfit, and that has to change. It has to change, and I have every confidence that it will. I also think as well that Everton will have to look at midfield, Because when you look at the whole balance of the team, and you look at that midfield, you know, you see Toure, you'll see Anana, or you know, you'll see players who I don't think they've got the brains. You know, like when you look at teams around us, you look at the midfield, and there is always that player there that's got a little bit of knowledge, a little bit of common sense, a little bit of football IQ, and I don't know if we have that with those two. Now, obviously, we know we've got players to come back. You know, we know we've got players that have been on international duty, and we know that we've got some really good players that have been on international duty. You know, a certain England under-21 who got player of the tournament, I might add, who has a little bit of brains, has that creativity, along with Dwight McNeil, and Iwobi will carry the ball well. But this Everton team just needs to expand now. We need more options. We need to be more aggressive in the market. And I know it's difficult, and I know we've left it late, but we really need to address that. We need to address that early. I'm going to shoot that bird. Yeah. Yeah. Fuck off. Nah. No, but seriously, if Everton are going to progress this season, it has to be now. Like, now is the most important time. And I said that I was disappointed that we've left it late, and I am disappointed that we've left it late. But at least we are moving, you know. And let's be honest, talking about strikers, you know, we have been linked with this Toure, who, you know, will cost us a pretty penny. We've also been linked with Iheanacho. But being real, anyone is better than Neal Maupay. Anyone. You know, Neal Maupay showed yet again in that game, the weekend against Wigan, why he isn't a Premier League striker. I mean, you'd argue he's not even a Championship striker on that showing. He could not put the ball in the net. He moves well. He doesn't have a great first touch, but he gets himself into little pockets of space. He just can't score goals. I mean, his job is to finish goals, and he can't do it, and he's never been able to do it at Everton. The longer he's at the club, the worse it's going to get. You know, we're bedding in and we're playing with a striker that, let's be honest, isn't good enough. We need to bring in a striker, get him in with the team, and get him training and playing and moving and understanding before the first game against Fulham. Because if we go into that first game against Fulham and we're playing Neal Maupay up front, then we've let, yet again, you've let the fans down. You know, the club have let the fans down. They've let the manager down. They've let loads of people down. So Everton absolutely have to address that now. And the longer it goes on, the worse it's going to get. Now, let's talk about the new signing, Danjuma. I mentioned him earlier, but this is a player that literally can play anywhere across the front four positions. He can go up front, but he can play just behind, and he can go left and right. He's got pace, he can score, he knows the English game because he played at Bournemouth. And look, he trained with Spurs and he played with some very good players at Spurs. So he knows what he's doing. Some of the comments that he's made about, you know, he didn't join because he didn't know about the fragility of the Everton team, the Everton board. I kind of get that. But what I will say is just prove it on the pitch. You know, I'm not bothered whether he comes in and says, look, I picked Spurs because they're a better option. Fair enough. It didn't work out for you. Once you come to Everton, you wear this shirt and you produce, you deliver, you do your best you can while you're wearing this shirt. And look, if it works out and we want to sign you after, then that is brilliant. And if it doesn't, then so be it. It is what it is. Thank you for your service. Thank you for your time. Sorry it hasn't worked out. I have no issue with players picking ambition over playing for a team that almost got relegated. I don't have that issue. Do I think it was a little bit snaky the way it happened? Yes, but we've seen it before. We had Manny Fernandez signed for £12.2 million and he ends up going to Valencia after being on loan at us all season, absolutely dominating midfield throughout this country, by the way. I mean, that game against Arsenal when he absolutely turned the whole Arsenal midfield inside out, that was Manuel Fernandez. You know, we've seen it loads of times where Everton have been in the market for the player. We've been all over him, and it hasn't happened. This isn't new. This isn't new. And, you know, we always laugh about how Everton takes so long on transfers, etc., etc., etc. From the moment this deal was agreed, it took 2 days for Everton to get this player out. 2 days. So, being realistic, it's very obvious that Everton can do it. They just chose not to do it. They choose not to act quick enough. Well, now they've learned the lesson, and I like to think they're going to step forward. If they want this Toure, go and sign him. Go and do it. Just get it done. If you want Iheanacho, and there's discussion there, go and do it. Go and sign him. There's no point fucking about anymore, because we really haven't got the time or the finances to do that. I think now Declan Rice has gone. I think you may see movement from West Ham for Iheanacho. He's also been linked with Paulinho, so, you know, I mean, it sounds stupid, but would Fulham be bold enough to approach Everton for Onana? I mean, I don't know, and I wouldn't like to think so, but we are where we are. Anthony Elanga's choosing to go to Nottingham Forest over Everton. Speaks volumes of the position that we are in. So, look, we have to progress. We have to step forward. We've got games this week that we need to win. Pre-season just keeps going. It's got to keep going. And, yeah, positive. We go Bolton on Tuesday. It's a game that Everton, in my opinion, need to win, have to win, get that confidence going into the next game. We've got a test just before the season starts in Sporting Lisbon. And then let's go into the Premier League flying. But let's get some signings over the line now. Let's be positive. Let's stop playing Neil Maupay, because, let's be honest, he's not good enough. And let's move on. Guys, it's been a pleasure as always. I'm sorry about the birds, but when the birds are singing, there's a saying there, I'm not going to finish it. Peace.